Hey everybody, it's Rebecca Traverso here, my very first Periscope, so this is kind of exciting. I'm here to talk to you guys today about first impressions. And so I purposely chose a spot in my house where there was like not a ton of clutter, right? Where you wouldn't be distracted because I wanted to make a first impression. I put on makeup today, which I didn't do yesterday, so that's kind of a treat. Made sure that I got myself dressed and I wanted to be presentable. And in this business, first impressions are really important. A lot of times the first impression somebody is going to get of you and your business is through social media, and that's why I really wanted to talk about that today. I mean, people might know what you're up to, but they won't know anything about the company that you work for. They might not know anything about, the success you're having or anything like that until they see it through social media. So I feel like it's a really important thing to pay attention to, how you're utilizing that. So I really want you to think about how you want to appear. Now, I majored in PR and public relations and political science when I was in college. So, image and appearance and kind of, my impression on others is something that's always been really important to me, and I feel like it's kind of a responsibility as a business owner that you have. You have to really think about the brand that you're representing, the business that you're running, and if you take yourself seriously, then other people will take you seriously as well. So just think about that. Like, how do you want to appear? I mean, if you're posting pictures of yourself and you look haphazard and you're a disaster all the time, I mean, sure, that's relatable and we all look like that sometimes, but when it comes to your business, I think a lot of times we need to elevate it and we really just need to take it to a different level. So I want you to think about yourself as your own PR person, right? Be your own public relations. I can never say that for whatever reason. Be your own PR person. And again, if you treat your business as a business and you treat it seriously, other people are going to see it and they're going to treat it that way as well. I also want you to think about the type of people that you're attracting, right? In terms of customers, in terms of people that you would love to work with on your team. Who are you attracting? Are you attracting people that, like you, are successful, are well put together, well spoken, wear this business on their shoulders because it's a huge, opportunity to say that, hey, I work for, the second largest premium skincare company in America. I mean, very few people can say that, right? So, definitely I want you to think about that. So, I want you to go ahead and I want you to picture yourself because, as much as we don't have a storefront, I mean, you really are no different than somebody who has a store. So I want you to think about what would happen if you walked into like your favorite department store. So if it was, Nordstrom's or Bloomingdale's or Neiman's or whatever it is that you like to shop. Let's say you were in the market for skincare, and let's say that our company didn't exist and, you had to go back to the old days, right? When you actually had to like leave your house and go somewhere, which, we're not buying that anymore. So, and we know America obviously isn't either. So let's pretend that you had to do that, right? And you walked into Nordstrom, and you were looking around at what counter to buy. And let's say that you saw this, one counter where, the women were all very nice and put together. They looked very professional. There was gorgeous signage. The packaging was amazing. That might bring you over there. But what if you saw a counter where maybe there were handwritten signs, things just didn't really feel put together, right? People were not matching. It was haphazard or whatever. I mean, realistically, you're probably not going to go there, right? It's just not going to attract you, and that's just not going to be somewhere where you're going to gravitate towards. And I want you to think about, yourself as your brand. And, that's why I titled this, your business, your brand, because you are your business, you are your brand. And that's really, really important. So I have 5 tips for you. It's super short and super simple, but, 5 tips because, again, it's a big responsibility. You stepped into this for various reasons. Some of you came in because you loved our products. Some of you came in because you wanted to make extra money. Some of you just wanted a challenge and you wanted something fun to do, right? And now here you are representing the second largest premium skincare company, #1 in aging in America. I mean, it's insane. We have all the most amazing marketing materials, but the thing with this, the beauty of it is that you as an independent business owner can, do this however you want, essentially. And social media is a big way that people, use, get word out about their business. So I have just 5 tips, like I said, to help you really use social media to your advantage when you are setting that first impression for your business. So the #1 thing, and I can't see any of these comments. I think I forgot to disable them, so I'm just ignoring them because I I hope people are saying nice things. Number one is have a good profile picture. I know that with my business, I am always celebrating people on my team. And a lot of times I'll go through their page and I don't even know who they are. There's people that I've never met. And it's so sad because when I'm looking at their profile picture, I see dogs and I see, like the backs of people's bodies and I see children. And I love seeing all of those things. But if you're owning a business, think about when you're reaching out to friends and family, sharing with them or reconnecting with people that maybe you haven't seen since childhood. They want to know who you are and they want to know what you look like. I think it's a really important thing to have a good profile picture. If you can afford to have a photographer take one, do it. When you're doing your next round of family photos or whatever, just say, hey, can you just take a couple of me? I need them for my business. If that's not an option, just set yourself up in a nice area with, a non-distracting background, a really nice, shaded spot where there's not going to be bright sun in your eye. Just find a good spot, give someone a camera, click away, crop yourself, and, there you go. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, I call by the app. And it kind of sounds simple, but it drives me crazy when I see people posting, collages with wonderful information, wonderful pictures, but they didn't spend the 99 cents for the app and it still says, pic collage or whatever it is. Like, it drives me crazy, guys. This is a business. You would never walk into Nordstrom and that counter see a big poster that had the pic collage logo on it, right? There is a corporate team who does graphic design and branding. And while we have that, again, you yourself as a business owner kind of are on your own with that to do it however you want. And it's a beautiful thing. I feel like, again, it's a bigger responsibility and I want to make sure that I do it the right way. So spend, 99 cents, buy the app, get rid of that, and hey, guess what? It's another write-off. And, taxes, April 15th is around the corner, so any write-off is a good write-off in my book. Number three is don't sound like an advertisement. When I am on Facebook and I find those little things that say sponsored, you know what I do? Probably what you do, right? I scroll because I don't want to read an advertisement. I used to have like DVR on my TV, and what would happen when I got to a commercial? I would fast forward it, right? That's what we all do. We fast forward. Nobody wants to hear an advertisement. And you don't want to be an advertisement. You don't want people tuning you out. You want to engage people. So this is going to kind of employ a little bit of my background, and I want to teach you guys something, and I want you to think about a lead. So think about if you were writing a paper in school, right? You had to start with like a main idea. You had to start with your thesis. If you have any experience with journalism or taking any kinds of classes like that, when people write for a newspaper, let's say, and it's kind of rare today, but I love the idea that they always put the most important information first, because if an editor's trying to get your article in the newspaper and they have to cut, to make the columns right, they're going to cut from the bottom up. And so what's going to happen is all the important content is at the top, right? It's at the forefront. You're going to see things that are going to be, really strong leads. You're going to ask questions. You're going to use, exclamatory sentences, right? I feel like, I'm teaching kids again. That's the fun thing about this business for me. But, you don't want to sound like an advertisement. You want to sound like yourself, but you want to engage people and you want to bring people in, have the most important information first, right? To really get people's attention. Now, piggybacking on that, my fourth tip is you want to sound like yourself. If people look at your post and you had copied and pasted it from someone, it doesn't even sound like you if you're using words that you don't normally, speak with. Like, a lot of times you put really funny, like, sounds and slang. Well, if that's not your personality and you all of a sudden start doing, language like that when you're posting, people are not gonna, they're not gonna see that. They're gonna be like maybe confused, possibly think that you've been like hacked. It's just not gonna work. So you really want to sound like yourself, because that again is what's going to engage people. That's why people are going to trust you, right, in your business. And we know that, I know that we have the best products around. I know our teams and our business, and I know that there is nobody on this planet in any kind of company that has what we have, and we know that. But if people can't feel that, they're not going to join you. And they have to feel that because they have to feel that you're you. And so my point is, trust is a very, very important thing, right? People are going to buy products from you. They're going to join you in business because they trust you. And you have to be showing them who you are. If you're not showing them who you are, it's not going to work. Now, on the flip side, I think it's totally fine to share before and after pictures. And a lot of times when a girl on my team will post her own pictures, it's totally fair game. And I can say that, like, this was my friend and I'm so excited and I'm like totally blown away by her results. All of that is good, but you want to sound like yourself again. So it's coming from you. It's not just cut and pasted and, just a free for all. Okay. It's not going to work. It's like throwing darts. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys today was to have a life outside of your business. Now, kind of going with everything else that we've talked about. You know, you don't want to sound like an advertisement. And if your Facebook or your, Instagram, whatever, you use is just business, 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 I mean, if people aren't interested in your business, they're not going to be interested in you. And I think the most important thing is that you want people to be interested in you. You know, how is what you're posting adding value to somebody, to, their life? Are you making them laugh? Are they, being entertained by you? Your business has to be very carefully intertwined, and it has to be very purposeful. So, I'm really big on not, throwing darts, right? We're not just like throwing things out there. We're planning and we're purposeful. I mean, if you, worked for a very large company, you would have a marketing department, you would have an advertising department that, spends a lot of time, purposely planning what they're going to say, when they're going to say it, and how they're going to say it. And you have to think about, that responsibility as well. So make sure you highlight what a great person you are, how much fun you have, what you're out doing with your friends and when you're with your kids, and, do all of those things to be a well-rounded person, because again, that's somebody that people would want to support, in terms of buying products from you and in terms of business. So my 5 tips again: have a good profile picture, buy the app, don't sound like an advertisement, sound like yourself, and then have a life. This business is amazing. For me personally, like I absolutely love this business, and for those of you that I know that I love it. However, the reason why I did this business was so I could have a life, and I could have things in my life that I wouldn't have been able to have without it. And I feel like that's important. So you don't want to be a commercial for the brand, you really just want to be you, right? And right now I'm so excited. I mean, this business has allowed me to do things that I didn't think I was ever going to do. And my dreams have, come true. And it's just it's so incredible. So thank you guys so much for letting me share with you. And I hope you guys have a really great day, and love you guys. If I know how to stop this.